Got a cool little video for you. What I want to talk about is, do we really need to replicate fish in their native environment? Do we need to recreate where they came from the wild in the home aquarium? Let me just finish this mashed potatoes and gravy with some of this cichlid lake salt here. Too much salt. Let's get right into it. So this can be a controversial subject. To make it simple, in the end, you do your fish keeping hobby like you want to do it. If you want to replicate a fish's natural environment, then you do it. If you don't, and you find it unnecessary, then you don't do it. Plain and simple. To each their own. Some people enjoy that aspect of the hobby where they get African cichlids and they want to recreate the higher pH and the saltier environment. They enjoy that part of it, and they also feel that it is more beneficial to their health in doing so. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Some people think it's a waste of time and money, and we're going to talk about both of these things and what I do with my African cichlid tanks. So let's check it out. So for most of my fishing here, I do not do that. I don't chase pH. My house keeps, in the summertime, all my tanks at the same temperature. But in the wintertime, I do need to take those heaters and put them back in, because for whatever reason, the house doesn't maintain that 78 degrees in all my tanks. It drops a little bit too low than I think that's healthy for some of them. When it starts warming up, I can unplug these heaters, get them out of here, one less thing to worry about, easier on electric bills, because the house, like I said, maintains that. However, I did, with my African cichlid tank, as seen in the thumbnail, with my Mbunas, did replicate their native environment. I did it because I wanted to do some experiment with it. I wanted to see if it made a difference. I wanted to see if it harmed these fish, because where they came from, they weren't in that environment. They were raised in a fish farm. Then they went to a pet store, and they were in that environment, and none of these places worry about doing these things. I did it for two reasons. One, I wanted to get the experience of doing it. I wanted to see what came from doing it, and I wanted to see how the fish reacted. So, let's first off talk about how it went for me. I have lots of shorts and long format videos on my channel with my Mbunas in it. There's a lot of them. If you want to check that out, you can see that. But for right now, I'm just going to tell you, I naturally buffer and raise the pH. It's about 7.8. It's not quite 8.0, but you can go up that far. And I do use Seachem's liquid cichlid lake salt. Since I have done that, these fish's colors, in addition to high quality foods, are crazy vivid. They look really good. They're pounding out babies. Their growth rate is nice. They're very active. They're very healthy. Knock on this plastic trim of this tank you're on right now, I have not yet had any disease issues with my Mbunas. Don't jinx me. Cross your fingers, knock on wood for me. But I have yet to have an issue since I've set this tank up and got these fish with these fish. Now, is that because I am keeping them in their native environment? Or is it just because I do consistent maintenance, I feed high quality foods, and I don't overfeed? Or is it a combination of both? If you're going to ask my opinion, I think it's a combination of both. Now, could I have the same results if I did not raise the pH and I did not use cichlid lake salt? Probably. You absolutely could. This is something I would have to try. If this 75-gallon tank that you're sitting on right now becomes available, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out a bunch of these brand new babies. I'm going to move them to this tank. And I hate to do that to them because they were raised in the environment that I have created for them. So I'd hate to put them in a non-environment like that, but fish can adapt. So the best thing I could do is actually get a couple maybe larger cichlids, or just get some more Mbunas and put in here and experiment with it, that already came from that environment and weren't raised in it. And then I can sit there and watch. They're literally side by side and see if there's a difference. We'll see if there's a different color, see if there's a different in size, vitality, energy. Not to mention, let's not forget, I do once a week give C-Chem, Vitachem to all my fish so they have their multivitamins. But I don't have bloat. And these fish are looking great. Let me know in the comments what you do with your African cichlids. Do you do this or do you not do it? Please share your experience with me on this subject. Now let's talk about one more thing about this. The people who tell you that you don't have to do that, or you shouldn't, or you don't need to, are the people that feel it's a waste of time, or they don't want to spend money in creating that environment when they feel you don't have to. I have mixed emotions on that, because with some fish, I don't worry about it. The only fish I worry about is my cichlids, but like I said at the beginning of the video, I did it for a few reasons. You can't call yourself a fish keeper or a well-rounded fish keeper, rather, if you don't try certain things, whether it be your dirted tanks, filterless tanks, recreating native environments, creating biotopes, aquascaping, all these things. If you want to be a more well-rounded fish keeper, you need to try them. And if you don't try them, you kind of stay stagnant. And if you're stagnant, we never grow. So I don't have a problem with people that do this. I encourage it. I'm doing it myself, and I like to try different things. So don't let those people bother you. This is your hobby. You do it how you want to do it. You enjoy it, and if that's what you want to do, you do it. It's not going to hurt them. But there are certain things you do need to know when you're doing stuff like this. Like I said before, unless you know you've got a fish from the wild, from their native environment, 9 times out of 10, you got them from your PetSmart, your Petco's, your pet supermarkets, anywhere they sell fish. They were not raised in that environment. So if you're going to get that fish and you're going to bring it home, put it in your tank with the plans of recreating their native environment, you need to do it slowly and you need to do it naturally. Do not use chemicals to raise your pH. Do it naturally. You can do this using crushed coral, Texas Holy Rock. There's a couple other ways you can do that, but I use Texas Holy Rock, and I did use crushed coral for a while until the Texas Holy Rock got settled in the tank and it took over. If you're going to use cichlid lake salt and they've never been in that environment, add it slow. Do it by the directions. Salt never leaves the water until you do a water change, and you only put back in the amount of water you took out. So if you put in, just to make it easy, you have a 20-gallon tank and you put in 20 gallons worth of salt and you only do a 50% water change, you only need to then put in another 10 gallons worth of salt. And it's actually lower than that because the companies that make and sell these aquariums market them by measuring the outside of the dimensions of the tank, not the inside. So you lose some water volume there, and then plus whatever decorations and things you put in the tank, you lose additional volume. So you need to account for that when you're dosing salt and anything. As a matter of fact, chemicals, whatever you're using, you need to adjust for that loss in that water volume. I have videos out on that. But that's it. I just wanted to put a quick video out on, do we really need to recreate these native environments for the fish? The short answer is no. Do you want to do it? If you want to do it, then yes, by all means do it. It's up to you. It's your choice. I say try everything once. Get the experience. Have fun with it. Enjoy the hobby. As time goes on, you might realize, hey, this was a waste of time. I don't want to do it. Or you're going to maintain it. I consistently maintain my 75-gallon Mbuna tank just the way I've discussed, and I have yet to see no ill effects. So in my experience for doing this so far, it's a win. So take that with a grain of salt, walk away and think about it. Leave a comment below and let me know your thoughts and your experience with this subject. Be safe. I certainly appreciate your time. Enjoy the rest of your week, and until next video.